I read in the comments, and people sometimes say, "What are you, a rocket scientist?" No, no. But so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background and how I got started into what I'm doing. When I was in high school, I had a job where I worked in a greenhouse pulling weeds, and I figured out right away that's not where I belonged. So I ended up working in a gas station, doing very little mechanical work and mostly just gas station work. And then I went on to a wheel alignment and brake shop, and that guy had me sweeping floors, but he also taught me a lot. And I learned how to do brakes, and back then it was mostly drum brakes, and every once in a while we'd have a car with disc brakes, which would be like a 65 Mustang or something. Not many disc brake cars then, but I learned them. And he also had a radiator shop, and he moved me over there, and I learned how to do radiators. So I was repairing radiators, doing brakes, and a little bit of wheel alignments, and a little bit of front suspension work. Moved on from there, joined the Air Force, jet engine mechanic. So, as a jet engine mechanic, sounds glorious, but I worked in a big shop. It was like a factory. Go in there every day, work 8-hour shifts, fixing engines. And I did that for 10 years. Became a supervisor, worked in a different shop, and I moved on from that back to my own, went back to automotive, went to my own shop. Had a radiator shop, eventually had a second radiator shop, did radiators, air conditioning. And I was a pilot, not from the Air Force, but as a civilian pilot. So that led to me wanting to build an airplane, and I got to go know the guys that were building airplanes. And they built, airplane engines are expensive, so they built airplanes with automotive engines in them, and I knew how to do radiators. Nobody in the airplane industry knew how to do radiators. So I built custom-made radiators for aircraft. That got me started building aircraft. Then I built my own airplane. Then I was designing airplanes I wanted to build, and I learned a lot. I was hanging around people that were engineers that taught me a lot. And I designed my own airplane, and I went to work for a guy that had me design an airplane for him. And it all worked out real well. And then I did another airplane for him years later. Oh, I also built some airplanes in between there. I wasn't working for him, and I built some airplanes for other people. And then I went back to work for him and did another design that happened to be it was a P-51 replica, 3/4 scale P-51 replica that became a very popular kit. And so I did that for a number of years. And I was in Ohio, and it's cold, 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 northeast Ohio, and I was so sick of the cold and the snow. My son was in the Army, and he ended up in Tennessee, and I said, I'm moving to Tennessee. I don't care if I can find a job. I'll find something to do. So I came here, and I was working in my own shop, doing some welding for people, and maybe trying to do my own airplane, but that's an expensive thing to develop a kit. Really wasn't very successful with it because I didn't have the money to do it right. And then a defense contractor that I built some airplanes for when I worked at the airplane factory, he called me and wanted me to do some work for him, and I ended up working for him for 15 years. And I ended up in flight testing out in Yuma, Arizona, on what today is called drones. We called them UAVs then, but they were pretty good sized drones, like 1,500 pounds, like the size of a small manned airplane, like you'd put two people in and fly. And I did that for quite a while. And then I had military contracts come and go, and one of them went, and I got caught in that and ended up, that was the end of the contract. So I retired, and I came back here to where my house was in Tennessee. Now I'm doing this nonsense. We're working on old cars. Working on helping Kim with her Dodge Dart, and I'm working on an old Plymouth Valiant, 72 Valiant. I like to weld. I like to work on aluminum. I'm really good with aluminum from all the years with airplanes, so maybe I'll build a car out of aluminum. I don't know. But you're seeing us now on YouTube after all this experience of all kinds of different things. So no, not a rocket scientist. I'm just an airplane guy and a car guy. Car guy, airplane guy, back to a car guy. I don't know. Kim's sitting back there behind the camera. What else do I say, Kim?
I think that's good.
You think that's good?
Yeah,
Okay.
new adventures. You're starting a new career at.
I'm 69 years old. I started a new career as an entertainer. That's kind of unusual, isn't it? So now I'm 70, and I'm an entertainer.